I grew up in the community centers, the Boys and Girls Clubs. So there were so many people who poured into my life and alongside my parents helped impact me and raise me and help me become the man that I am today. So I feel like it's my duty to, where I'm at now in life to pay that forward, to help as many people as I can because someone once helped me. And for our family, our life motto the last handful of years has been see people, know people, love people. And for us that's biblical. God calls us to love God and to love people.
Welcome to the Athletes Doing Good podcast. We are so excited today to welcome CJ Ham, fullback for the Minnesota Vikings. Thanks so much for joining us.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
So we hear you're providing a super unique opportunity for Vikings fans to watch you and all your teammates show off your skills, but this time not on the football field, on the softball diamond. What does it mean to you to have your teammates band together for such a great cause?
Yeah. Well, first off, I don't know if people will be watching our skills per se. They'll be watching us attempt to be good at softball. But it means the world to me. It means the world to me that for the last handful of years, our team has come together and come out here and support the Thielen Foundation, UNRL, and now myself. So supporting what my wife and I have started in the Ham Family Scholarship Fund. It really means the world to me that everybody would show up and join the cause.
Who's the best softball player?
Um, it's got to be our long snapper, Andrew DePaula, Pro Bowl Poe. The dude can hit some dingers. That's for sure.
It's kind of like golf. Like you're not going out there for the skills, you're going out there for the fun.
I don't golf either, so I can't even say I know what that's like. I'm very bad at golf. I'm probably worse at golfing than I am at softball. So
That's too funny. Well, I know you mentioned the Unreal Celebrity Softball Game is going to raise funds, not only for the Thielen Foundation, but also your Ham Family Scholarship Fund. Why is it important to you to help kids in the Minnesota community?
yeah, it means the world to me and my family. First off, for me personally, I grew up in the community centers, the Boys and Girls Clubs. So there were so many people who poured into my life and alongside my parents helped impact me and raise me and help me become the man that I am today. So I feel like it's my duty to, where I'm at now in life to pay that forward, to help as many people as I can because someone once helped me. And for our family, our life motto the last handful of years has been see people, know people, love people. And for us, that's biblical. God calls us to love God and to love people. So that's what we want to do. We want to love people well in all of our efforts. And my parents raised me in that way. We didn't have a lot growing up, but they always instilled in us that if someone needs help, you drop everything you have and you go help them. So that's kind of who we are and kind of why we do the things that we do. It's not about us. It's about impacting the community, impacting the youth. The youth is our future. So making sure our kids and the kids around, have everything that they need.
Well, that's so special. And I think you mentioned so many good things in that. Um, so often you see that when you give back or other people give back, you're wanting to impact whoever it is that you're working with, but in turn you get impacted. Do you have any moments that stand out in your head where you walked away and you were like, well, maybe I didn't want to do that today, but you walked away and you're like, whoa, that changed the trajectory of my day. Like I feel so good about that.
Yeah, that like you said, that happens so often where you think that you're the one that's supplying, what the kids need, but they're actually giving you what you need. And for me, during my youth camps, even the softball game, just interacting with the fans, interacting with the children the children that are there. Last year there was a woman who had cancer, who was battling cancer that I was able to talk with, and with my mom had battled cancer. We kind of shared that and we were able to talk about that. And you just realize how much they impact you, how much joy that they have, in their life, even in the hardest parts of their life, just puts in perspective that what I got going on isn't all that important. There's people out there um, who are struggling, but they don't let their circumstances dictate who they are and how they feel. So that yeah, there's just many opportunities and many things like that that has happened in my life.
Uh, I think too, like what it takes to be able to relate to kids, adults, everyone is this level of vulnerability. And I
Yeah.
think you mentioned it there, like talking about your mom's cancer journey. What is it like though? Because there's this persona that you're like this big tough football player. Do you struggle with being vulnerable, or how have you learned to be able to be adaptable, vulnerable, relatable to people?
Yeah. Like you said, being a big tough football player, and even the macho man, like vulnerability is something that is not a characteristic that is highlighted for
Hmm.
most of us men, and I think most people in general. But I think over the years I've learned, and through my walk and through my walk with faith with Jesus, is that to be a good leader you have to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is something that a lot of people don't use enough. That's how you build trust. That's how you build accountability, and that's how you relate to people. You see people where they are, meet them where they are. You have to be vulnerable in that sense and show that you too are human. You too have struggles. You too are not perfect.
So true. Well, tell us a little bit about your why of the Ham Family Foundation.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. So yeah, first off, the Ham Family Scholarship Fund kind of came about shortly after the George Floyd and what had happened here in Minneapolis in Minnesota, where there was a lot of pain and a lot of hurt going on in our community, the communities around the country, our household. I was struggling, my wife was struggling, and we were kind of just thinking like, what is something that we can try to do to help and bring hope. We obviously knew that there was nothing that we could do to, help everything in totality. But like, what can we do in our little circle? And my wife and I really value education. Education is very important. It's the one thing that I don't think anybody can take away from you is your education if you go out there and get it. And we just thought, you know, how can we have education help our community? And my wife was like, we should start a scholarship fund and start a scholarship fund for the BIPOC youth in the Duluth and Superior area. Statistically, we know that graduation rates in the BIPOC communities are not as high. So just we wanted to be able to bring a little bit of hope and stress the importance of education and have the kids, have the students, have some hope in reaching for that education and having a little bit of financial assistance. And for me, I received an outside scholarship from the Boys and Girls Club when I was in college, and it helped me tremendously throughout my years in college. And so for us to be able to do that for somebody else is pretty special.
That is super special. There any moments that have stood out to you where you've really seen the impact of this scholarship fund on a specific family or child?
Yeah. No. Last so we've only We've only had it for since 2022, so we've only had one recipient, and this year will be our second recipient. But last year, being able to have a Zoom call like this, call the family, say hi, talking to our winner of the scholarship, and her mom was in the back, kind of like hiding, and we're like, "Oh, come on out, let's talk, let's have fun." It was just a really special moment to be a part of that and see the initial impact that something like this has. And I just remember it like yesterday, the impact that it had on me. So it's special to be on the other side of that.
Amazing. Well, this is the Athletes Doing Good podcast, so we love to ask all of our guests, what does athletes doing good mean to you?
Great question. I think athletes doing good means going out there and showing the world that we are athletes. We are these public figures, but we are also just like you. We also grew up in homes just like many of the other people in this world. We also have the same type of struggles. Um, but because of where you are doesn't mean that you have to stay where you are. You know, you can, if you put in the hard work, you put in the things, you can also be successful in anything that you want to do. For us, it was athletics, but I think that's a push for anybody to go out there and just put their best foot forward and try to achieve greatness in their life. So athletes doing good means that to me.
I
Yeah,
love that. Yeah, not letting your circumstances define who you are or what you can do or limit your potential. I really like
for,
that.
for
Well,
sure.
keep up the good work. We can't wait to watch you at the softball game. We can't wait to continue to see what the scholarship fund does and who you impact with everything. So thank you for joining us.